Hey, it's Darlene. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my creative life. I am creating a really cute Easter card. So I had stamped these images. One of my girlfriends had given me some stamps that she had. She's getting rid of some things, and I grabbed this one set because I thought it was so cute. When I colored it, I really didn't have any specific plans for it. I just thought, super cute. Let me just color it and I'll save it for when I'm ready to make a really cute Easter card. I'm using a variety of alcohol markers for these images. Most of my alcohol markers, are the ones that I really enjoy using, are the ones that are like the tri-blend. So there's a light, dark, and a light, medium, and dark of the same color family. And then it's easy, in my opinion, to figure out like the shadowing and shading, things like that, because you have all of the different color variations. Now, some of these markers that I used are like, there's like a pink, yellow, and orange on it. So I don't even know where I got them, but I think I was gifted them as well. But the thing I love about alcohol markers is they blend really well together. So even if you only use one shade of a color, like how I mentioned some of the markers have like a orange, yellow, and pink, I can do one layer of that. I'll just say pink, and then let that kind of settle for a little bit, and then go along some edges to give like a shadow, and it looks like a second color. So I really like that about the alcohol markers. But if you follow my channel, if you're a subscriber of mine, I have told you multiple times, I am not somebody that you want to learn how to color from. I'm not somebody who, does all the things. I normally just start with a lighter color, and then I do a little bit more like a medium and then a dark. But I just kind of follow where I think it needs a little bit of shading. A lot of times that just depends on the stamp I'm using, because some of the stamps have areas that seem a little darker, or that might have like a little extra lines or something. And I just kind of follow it like that. I'm not somebody who says, oh, the light's coming from the right, so let me start with lighter colors and go shadows, things like that. Not that I couldn't. And I've told myself, hey, maybe I should take a class where I can color and learn all those things. But I also know that that's a lot. And I'm really not that into it. So as you're watching this, you can see that I'm just kind of putting colors down and then going over some areas just to give some different dimension and some interest, because you can tell that there's some movement as far as colors. So just wanted to get that out of the way. If you are somebody who's like a professional or somebody like that, especially with alcohol marker coloring, just know you're right. I don't know what I'm doing. But this is also the same thing if you're using just regular watercolor markers or watercolor pencils or watercolors. I kind of just do the same thing. I start with like a lighter color, and then I just try to do some shadow or just add some dimension with darker colors. Not a whole lot to it. But like I mentioned before, I stamp these, let them rest overnight. And then I colored them in with the markers with the intention of doing something fun with them. So before I get into the card, I do want to tell you that I do post at least 2 videos a week. One is always scrapbooking, and the other is whatever it is I'm creating in the Command Center, which is the name of my blog and also my craft room. So if you're not already a subscriber, please hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. So now we're working on the card. I have made this card here. It's called a step pop-up card. So years ago, when all the closures first started happening, a lot of my family and friends were like, hey, you should do some online classes. That was when Zoom was a big thing, right? So I did a monthly card kit, and this was one of the first ones that I did. And I'm going to give a link to my blog, which will be in the information box, and it'll show where all my monthly card kit cards were and the styles. But I had so much fun doing that, and it kind of reminded me that maybe I should do something like that again, especially since I have more time. And I did it at that time because even though I was working from home, and I'm going to be honest with you, I didn't always have, 8 hours worth of work. But anyhow, so back to the card. I have all the measurements for this card and even instructions on my blog. Again, I'll have the link in the information box, but it's really simple to do. Now this one, this is 8.5 or 4.25 by 8.5, I believe. And then you score it at, whatever the score lines are. So every time I'm adding this, like this fold in area, I'm anchoring everything on the 5.5-inch fold. So you can see that there where it's folded. And then I just fold under the tab and then place it there. So there's no like guesswork on where you're supposed to put things. Again, all of the instructions will be on that picture that's on my blog post. So please check that out. I did end up just doing it as a photo, so you could probably just save it. But the paper that I'm using here is all my scraps. I went to a crop in February and used up the majority of my spring/Easter scraps. Now, of course, there's always still a little bit left, and these were kind of some of the leftovers. Believe me, I'm having so much fun using them, and I'm so glad I'm using them because, like I keep saying, it gives me a reason to buy more because, why not? So on this piece too, like you'll see here where I'm folding it down again, and it's at that 5.5-inch score mark, which is the bottom of that part I just showed. And then when I attach this orange piece of cardstock onto the card base, it's all again based on that score line. So once you have the directions and then you listen and watch this, it'll make complete sense. So here I'm just putting some adhesive about 1.5 inches at the most up, because that's that little section right there, and anything more than that would just stick to the back. So you want to make sure you go underneath that 1.5 inches, so about 1.25, why not? And then again, I put a little bit of tape on the tab, fold down the card on that 5.5-inch score line like I mentioned, and then I just fold it over and everything just lines up so you're not guessing. But isn't this so cute? And it's so easy. I love fun fold cards because they pack such an impact, and they're so they look so difficult. They look like, oh my God, you really did some crazy stuff here, but they are so easy to put together, especially when you have the directions. So again, go to my blog to get all that information instead of me trying to remember exactly what I'm doing here. But I'm just decorating it with those cute, cute, cute little bunnies. I put a little basket between them, like they're holding on to it. I forgot to mention, but it's pretty obvious. Once I colored in those stamped images, I did fussy cut them, and I just did it really quick with my scissors. I do have two of the larger baskets, and then some of the chicks available, but I'll use them for something. Don't worry, they're too cute to just leave by themselves. But I started to put the basket with the 3-dimensional adhesive or foam adhesive, and then I realized I wanted it to be behind the bunnies, and I didn't want to put the bunnies with the foam adhesive because with this being a pop-up card, I just thought if it was also on some foam adhesive popping up, that would just be way too much. Sometimes you got to stop yourself. I did end up putting a ribbon up on that top part of the orange, and you'll see it at the end with the final pictures. I'm not really sure if I like it. I don't know how to tie a bow. I mean, I know how to tie my shoe, and those bows turned out right all the time. So I don't understand why I can't tie one with a ribbon, but apparently it's completely different. But when you see the final pictures, I do have the bow on there. I'm just still kind of debating. It's not glued, it's not attached anyway, except for the fact that it's tied on, so I could take it off without any problem. But isn't this really super cute? And again, really easy. I hope you decide to make a card, something like this, and check out my monthly card kit cards. What I did do is we made 2 cards with the same type of card, if that makes sense. So this is the step pop up. So we made 2 different cards with this. And I think what I show on my blog is only the main card, which was a Father's Day card. And then the second one, we did a graduation card, which I'm not sure. I don't think I have both of those pictures on there. So it was really fun to do. Like I said, 2 cards, and we only did it once a month. I would send out everything you needed for the card except for your basic toolkit. And then we would do a live, and then we would all make it together. So anyways, a ton of fun. But I do hope you enjoy this. And if you do, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. And thanks so much for watching. Bye.